Why is good credit important? Why do we put so much stress on ourselves, on this number? Promised that I would talk about credit and credit card debt and credit scores and all that good stuff on Instagram in this post when I posted my 840 credit score. And this video is going to be telling you how you can get to an 840 credit score and some things you need to do. If you want more detailed information that is going to be a little longer than this 5 to 6 minute video, I have written a 50-page ebook just for you that covers side hustles for my hustlers looking for some extra money, how to tackle credit card debt, how to get your FICO score back up to a excellent number, and much more. So if you want detailed information, click the link in the description box below to take you to that 50-page ebook. What exactly is a credit score? A credit score, or FICO score, is essentially the numerical number that the world or the country, because I don't know if they have credit scores in other countries, the country has given you that is a representation of your ability to pay back money you have borrowed. Now, there are 3 companies that you need to be aware of when it comes to your credit score. That is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You need to make sure that your credit score looks the same in all 3 companies or similar. It may not be the same number, but you don't want to have a 400 and an 800 on 2 different companies. That's a problem. There are 5 major players when it comes to your credit score, all right? And they all have different percentages of how they affect them. The first thing you want to pay attention to is your credit utilization. That is a hefty 30% of your credit score. What credit utilization means is if you have 2 credit cards, one credit card with a $5,000 limit, another credit card with a $10,000 limit. If both of those credit cards are maxed out, that will negatively affect your credit score. That shows you're poorly using credit utilization. A good number to keep in mind is 30, okay? You do not want to be over 30% of the credit you have available. If you have a $10,000 limit on a credit card, you do not want to have a balance over $3,000, right? Because that will be more than 30%. Besides credit utilization, your payment history, that's the big one that everyone knows, is 35% of your credit score or FICO score. If you do not have your monthly payments paid on time, that is going to negatively affect you. So credit utilization and your payment history take up 65% of how your credit score is calculated. That is something you want to keep in mind. Moving on, the third major player in how your credit score is created is your length of credit. Usually, and it's annoying, they want to see credit history for 25 years in order to count it as excellent. I didn't have a credit card at 5 years old, so I couldn't have credit for 25 years. So that's usually one of the things that keeps me from having perfect credit. Sun shifted. I had to shift too. Okay, so the last 20% of how your credit is pretty much put together, 10% is going to be a mix of your credit accounts, and the last 10% is the inquiries that have occurred on your account. Now, what both of those mean: one, for your mix of accounts, if you only have essentially student loans, or you only have a bunch of store credit cards or credit cards, that's not going to benefit you. You want to have a mix of different credit. So you want to have your student loans, you want to have maybe 1 or 2 credit cards. If you're buying a home, you'll have a mortgage. There's different things, a car loan, to show that you are really good at paying off different types of debt. Store cards and car loans usually rank the worst. Good debt would be your student loans or maybe a mortgage. And the last 10% is the inquiries that are on your credit. So there's something called a hard inquiry. What a hard inquiry would be if you are car shopping, if you're mortgage shopping, if you're applying for loans. These things are inquiries. The hard inquiries are the ones where they're going in, they're pulling your score. That's kind of showing that you're a little sus. That's how the credit unions view it. So you don't want to have too many hard inquiries in your account at one time. And those inquiries stay on your account for 2 years. Will it ruin your score? No, but it's not a good look. It is 10%, so it's not that damaging. Boom. So let's move on, shall we? We know exactly how our credit's made or what affects our credit. why is good credit important, right? Why do we put so much stress on ourselves, on this number? There are a couple of reasons why good credit is important. Besides the fact that you get to stunt on your friends when you have an 840 credit score, okay? I don't stunt on my friends with my credit score, I promise. It's also really good when you're trying to do a lot of adult things. If you're trying to get a mortgage or you're applying to be a homeowner, you are going to want to have the best possible credit in the world in order for you to get the best interest rate on your new loan, on your new debt. If you're buying a $300,000 home and you get a really good interest rate, it is essentially saving you hundreds of thousands of dollars in the long run if you're on a 30-year fixed rate. Besides that, what else good credit is good for is for opening new lines of debt besides mortgage. You get the best reward cards from credit cards. If you're opening for a new credit card, they will check your credit. And if you have good credit, they'll offer you really low APR. My first credit card has 9% APR and my second credit card has 12% APR. So essentially, because I have really good credit, I'm paying less interest and I'm getting better offers, as opposed to when people with okay credit, they open a credit card, they're usually starting off at somewhere around 20 to 30% APR on a credit card, which is insanity, by the way. All right, the last two things I want to cover with you, and I'm going to do them really quick because I think we're doing all right on time. First thing, 750 or up is considered excellent credit. 600 and below is considered poor. They usually rank from 300 to 850. So that is the frame that you will be working with. Last thing, we're going to do some quick math. Your debt to income ratio. That is another thing that affects your credit score. And it also affects how much money you can get approved for your new credit cards or a mortgage or anything you're trying to get money for in the world. Your debt to income ratio. What happens is if you have a lot of debt, right, as compared to your income, you will be given less money. So even if you're making $500,000 a year, but you have $400,000 in debt, that's not a good look. So that is why you want to focus on absolutely paying down your debt to zero, so you can get all the monies and move into your mansions and live your best life. Debt to income ratio is really important, and it's usually something you cannot control. Because I make X amount of dollars and I have to pay X amount of money a month, my debt to income ratio is a little off. They recommend you having 25% being used to debt and 25% being used to housing. I'm a little over on both, so because I'm poor. But that is it. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Millennial in Debt. And I'm out. I will catch you on the next one.